Well, hello there, guys. Welcome to another Strategic Command World War I episode as the Central Powers. Can't wait to get back into this, and we are getting very close to Christmas time in the game and in real life. So I think the first thing is, people have told me on the other fronts to pretty much try and hold my defenses, and I agree with that. But here on the Western Front, I think I need to keep the pressure up pretty consistently. So I'm going to try to destroy yet another French army. We succeeded in destroying one last turn. Ooh, no, that was bad. I should have attacked first. Well, at least he won't be destroyed next turn. Over here, if we can reinforce, I will. If not, I'm considering attacking that British Marine unit. Although, the French right here are also pretty badly damaged, and I think I'd like to try and lower their national morale first. So let's try that. Bring in a new group, the 10th Reserve Corps, and go ahead and carry out an attack. Now, of course, these are not attacks where we don't also lose men. It's sort of par for the course, but it's a risk we're taking, of course. So let me just take a look here. Ooh, hello, folks. So we are using the cell phone. I shattered it against a wall, so I can still see your chats and stuff, but if it starts acting funny again, I'm going to immediately throw it in the trash. Let's see here. So actually, a really good attack. I'm not sure why, against the GDR Corps. We'll go ahead. Might as well attack a unit that's weak. Force the enemy to have to restore it, refresh it, etc. Although I'm not sure it's a wise idea to keep my cavalry here on the front lines. I think we'll be okay, but of course, if I could take that back, I probably would. Let's also switch them out with the slightly better off cavalry unit. But certainly the British are getting there right on the front line to try and cause some damage. What about this? Good to see you, Andrew and Reichen Rostov. Reichen Rostov says stop throwing things. Okay, another weak French unit here. Although he's already been hit quite a few times. This one is even weaker. No, it's an 8. I thought it was a 5. Damn my eyesight. That's okay. What we're going to do, we're still going to try to deal damage to this guy right here. We can't switch these two out. What we can do, though, is bring reinforcements to any of the other units, or at least get them prepared for another fight. I also think I'm going to take this general and push him down a bit. This guy is actually connected to the Southern soldiers, so actually I should push him down and bring him up north just a little bit. We'll push Crown Prince Wilhelm's HQ right there, and let's get Duke Albrecht's HQ in Liège. Get him a nice house in Liège. I think he'll like it. Now, the Serbian situation, what I'm actually thinking is we might try to overwhelm them with Austrian forces. I'm thinking if we bring in a few more Austrian corps, we could actually beat the Serbs and end up taking them out of the war. It would also get the Bulgarians on our side for sure. The problem is, number one, these are all pretty risky attacks, and number two, and most importantly, we need these units against the Russians more than we do against the Serbs. As you can see, the Russians continue to advance. We're doing a pretty good job at keeping them back on this front, but that's not going to last forever. As you can see, we're even running out of reinforcing abilities here, slowly running out of manpower. Still trying to hurt this unit. Flip them out. Ooh, that's not looking good. No, that's looking even worse. No way. Let's go back to the village. And again, no reinforcements available, so that manpower is taking a hit with all of these consistent attacks. We simply don't have as many people as the Russians do. So this is going to be a bit of some trial and tribulation. I think we could absolutely crush the Russians here with our Germans. So let's get aggressive. We want to try and hold Knigsberg. I've decided I think Knigsberg is our last stronghold. We have to try and hold it if we can at all. Because if we can hold Knigsberg, I think that'll lead to good things. I hope it will. I might even take my unit out of Graudenz and move him right there. And look at that. We actually took Thorn back. We had lost this to the Russians last turn. So this is the perfect time to get that back. Let's take a look here at the chat. Would it be worth sending some German corps to Serbia so you'd have a quick victory and then be able to reallocate units? That's not a bad idea. If you guys think it's a good idea, let me know, and we will certainly consider doing that. I am definitely going to send some Austrian troops to that front. I think it's definitely important. Let's see. Dave Jiju. It's just watching a bit of upcoming SC World War I. Guess it was with a mod that made it look more board game-ish. Seems fun, though. Interesting. Alright, these guys can also get to the front lines. We'll actually try to send them over to Serbia. It'll take a while. We'll even take this unit in Berlin. I don't get the feeling that the Russians are just going to break right through. So you know what? We'll send this guy down to Serbia. Of course, it's going to take a while. So instead, we're going to go ahead and... not disband. We're going to go ahead and... If we can use the movement... Actually, he doesn't seem to have that ability. He can't use the rail lines. So we'll have to find, maybe next turn he can use them, and we can use the rail lines to maybe assist over there, yeah. It might also be a lack of MPP. We really do need to grab some more if possible. The Serbian front remains active, don't worry. Also going to take a look at the situation in the Mediterranean. It's not great for us. But I think we might be able to put the hurt on the Allies at least a little bit. Look at that. Light cruiser here. It's really important that we try to gain national morale and quick. Oh, that's not what I was hoping for. Nonetheless, good. Successful attack by one of our Austro-Hungarian dreadnoughts. That's exactly what we're looking for. Yeah, I don't think there's much else we can do, except for our Navy. We could try and harass the British again. We were planning to bring more troops up here to deal with the British. But maybe that's not such a good idea either. Of course, taking out that ship would be amazing. So we actually just got an amazing attack on the Iron Duke. This is a dreadnought. If we could actually take this thing out this turn, I think that would absolutely help us in the naval war. No! Wasn't looking forward to more naval contact. Nonetheless, we come out on top here. So now we're kind of forced to bring our Navy into this northern area. It's okay, though. I think we're going to do quite well. But, as always, we need to use the hit-and-run tactic of just essentially get in there, do some damage, get back to our ports, resupply, etc. Our research is also doing really well right now. I was going to do mobility next, but maybe ground attack weapons would be a good idea. Shin is asking what the current situation is. That's a good question. Well, you know, we've got the Western Front pretty much under grabs. We've got all of Belgium. We've been doing pretty well over here, although pretty standard activity on the Western Front. You can see the Russians trying to break through here into Austria-Hungary. We do have a defensive line. Now, I think the most pressing area is over here in East Prussia, where we're trying to hold the city of Knigsberg. I'm not even sure it's worth continuing to hold the city, or maybe it's worth falling back to Danzig. But we are attempting to hold it and destroying any Russian units that come by, or at least trying to heavily damage the Russian army, destroy that morale, etc. But I'm not entirely sure we're doing the right thing. We're certainly trying to. As for the Serbian situation, that's another important situation here. We are pretty much in a total stalemate. I'm thinking we're going to have to bring more troops in here to attack the Serbs. Because, let's face it, we are not getting through right now. Okay, folks, I think it's time to turn it over to our friends, the Entente. Let's go for it. I always like to double-check on this game. Okay, Shin is actually suggesting we fall back to Danzig. Wow, but that would be a big national morale loss, although we would have a pretty nice defensive line here. That is true, Shin. I think I might try to hold out for one more turn to save the national morale embarrassment. I think we can hold out one more turn, but yeah, could be a bit of a risk. We've also got some more naval units that we probably want to bring into battle, since we're going to battle in the north. Got still quite a formidable navy, and I'm going to try... Actually, with this sub, I'm going to try to get through. That's right, we can also not forget that the enemy have put some sea mines here. We can also set our own sea mines, near these northern ports. That might not be such a bad idea either. So you know what? I'm going to take the battle cruiser and engage this British ship. Amazing work. Destroyed the Foxhound destroyer. And we'll bring the Dreadnought over here as well. Now, if things get too crazy over here, we'll pull the Dreadnought out. But this will just be our sort of defensive force for now. Okay, folks, fingers crossed. Christmas next turn. Seems like there is a risk of encirclement. I think there is, especially if we remain there, but hopefully we'll get out in time. German morale is boosted by the use of unrestricted naval warfare. Of course it is. Nationalist figures in Italy are calling for war against us unless we hand over the areas of Trento and Trieste. The transfer of territory they are demanding would include the city and port of Trieste and the towns of Trento, Brunswick, and Gorz. However, if we were to give these places to Italy, this would massively reduce Italy's desire for war against us. This would also really upset the Austro-Hungarian people, and historically the Italians did go to war against the Central Powers in World War I, so I am not going to transfer Trento and Trieste to them. However, that's probably going to open up an entirely different and new front. We do have some defenders on this front, but it's going to really force us to allocate forces elsewhere. So much for taking Serbia. Volunteers from the USA join Serbia's fight for independence. The whole world is joining Serbia. Thank you, Ken Doggy. Absolutely, guys. Hit that like button. Donate if you want. Bostova was kind enough to donate 3 wonderful ducats earlier today on our stream for another game I think you guys should all check out if you haven't already. Just go see our previous upload. I think it's just a fascinating game. Okay, fighting on the Western Front ceases on Christmas Day. That's what I thought. Austrian physicist Erwin Schrödinger is against those posted to serve on the Italian border. Let's hope he survives. Scottish reports, scientists report progress in logistics development, 17 to 41%. Scientists report progress. Okay, and this is for the Turks. Not as concerned with them, but there we go. Yeah, certainly we got a winter going here. And hopefully that'll mean a little, maybe a drop on the attacks on both fronts. Welcome, folks. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. The Entente has a lot of units here, but I don't think they're aware of all the subs we have in the area. I think we can win over here, just like we did on the English Channel. We managed to crush a lot of British ships, and I think the same could be done in this situation. Let's hope I'm right, because they do have a lot of ships. Right, here's where we're going to see if the Russians actually try to encircle us at Knigsberg, and they could. I wonder, if they don't encircle us, maybe we should keep holding Knigsberg? It's pretty risky, but it's very important to our morale, that location in East Prussia. Good work, men. Excellent naval battle there, utterly annihilating the enemy ship. And let's see if we can take on typo there. Let's see if we could take on this actual enemy dreadnought. We've got 2 of them. It'd be great if we could bring this submarine around to attack, also using the dreadnoughts, of course. But we might have to reallocate some of these forces to try and take out those 2 ships. I think it's a great opportunity, and I think we could absolutely destroy them in one turn. Now, this is what I'm concerned about, is of course the enemy pushing on the weaker parts of the front here. Alright, the defense of Knigsberg, my friends. And the Russians are definitely throwing everything they have at Knigsberg. We better hope we have enough national morale next turn to start reinforcing troops. Last turn we really didn't, and that has to change. I think with those naval victories, things should help. But once again, they're going to get the sort of road to Ypres if they go into that space, although we can easily destroy that unit. Also, guys, for anyone watching, we put the first 2 videos in the actual video description. So if you want to watch episode 1 and 2, and if you're watching this on YouTube after the stream, and you haven't seen episode 1 and 2 yet, I highly recommend you check that out first, so you get sort of an idea of how this has all gone. I think it's gone okay. Icon Rostov, how does artillery and air power work in this game? So we do have artillery and air units. We don't have many right now because we haven't purchased many. It's sort of the beginning of the war, but it pretty much, yes, it can do damage. It can also cause suppression damage. So you can suppress an area with the artillery, and an infantry attack is supposed to be slightly more effective. It can also fire at range, although the artillery we have right now can only fire 1 tile away, or 2 tiles away, rather. So I think it depends. As we research, maybe we'll get longer distance artillery. Who knows? German morale is boosted once again by the use of unrestricted naval warfare. You don't say. We sure love our unrestricted naval warfare. Okay. Soldiers of the 130th Baluchi Regiment mutiny at Bombay. That's a British regiment. It's good to see that they're mutinying. Well, we still hold Knigsberg. What do you guys think? Do we keep trying to hold it, or do we fall back, as suggested earlier by Shin? I don't know. Given the rise of nationalist sentiment in Italy, led by people like Gabriello D'Annunzio, who are calling for war against us, we must maintain units in Trento, Klagenfurt, and Trieste. Yeah, absolutely. And they could declare war at any time. Here are some more naval units for Germany. Wonderful. And also we have that infantry unit. And somebody suggested bringing this German infantry unit to the Serbian front. I like the idea. Unfortunately, we don't have any German generals present here. If we bring some German generals there, that could be a really good idea. I think for now we'll probably put them over here on the Russian front. Maybe even keep on defending Knigsberg with another unit. Whoa, Dave, you're the man. Thank you, buddy. You are amazing. Thanks, man. Rock on. Yeah, that put me for a spin. I'm going to put them here in this city, so we'll have some defenses here. We've also got some more Austro-Hungarian troops, and these guys are destined for Serbia, for sure. Thank you again, Dave. That is awesome. I really appreciate it when people do that. It helps tremendously. Okay, can we reinforce? We can reinforce. Got some good news here, and that's that we want to just reinforce all of these units on the front. Make sure that this thing can withstand any attack by the Russians. Make them lose as many men as possible, you know, attacking these areas, and hope that that works. Now, once we actually unlock infantry warfare and unlock the improved infantry weapons, we could consider doing some counterattacks, but I'm not sure that's such a good idea right now. He didn't get a sticker for that? If he didn't get a sticker for that, YouTube, come on. Let's see. Okay, Lublin is right there. Huh, maybe we can take the cavalry and cause some confusion amongst the Russian lines. Oh, okay. It's not going to do much. And in fact, they'll probably just jump in and kill this guy. Let's move forward with the 11th Corps. No, I am not here. Sorry. Sorry about the phone, guys. Let me max reinforce this unit, and let's take a look at this front. This front, I really feel like we could push forward and actually come out on top. But as you can see, that attack wouldn't go so well. This one would go all right. I'm still holding Knigsberg. I'm crazy. I refuse to give it up. Knigsberg shall be held. I mean, as long as we can, you know what I mean? We might as well. Actually surprised at how well we're doing there. So many Germans willing to fight. Whoa! Icon Rostov. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. That is amazing. We just made $18 within, I think, what, 20 minutes? Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate that. I'm sort of speechless right now. Just try to do my best here. Try to get you victory for your donations, your war bonds that you've purchased for the Reich. We'll do everything we can for you, my brothers. As for these generals, that's more appropriate. And maybe even potentially bringing this general, although we really can't right now, but potentially bringing him to Serbia and having a German general here. Not going to be a very popular opinion for the Austro-Hungarians, because it's pretty much letting them know that we don't think they can accomplish the job on their own, which they really can't. Let's be honest. Yeah, not much is going to happen there this winter. And even an attack would be sort of a waste. I think I will hold for now. Thank you, man. I didn't get stickered into any Cyber Monday deal on Steam. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Alright, we're going to reinforce this unit. Trying to get another defensive unit here into the city. Oh boy. I'm just going to entrench and hope that that's enough to save him. And absolutely, we need to take a look at the naval situation here. So you see the artillery there, by the way, that's what you were asking. You can see it's 2 tiles away. We didn't do any damage. We may have suppressed some. The early war artillery doesn't seem to be very effective. It's also because the enemy's entrenched, and that reduces the artillery damage. Speaking of entrenchments, anywhere I can improve these entrenchments, I'm going to. Welcome to the army, boys. More volunteers, of course. And here at the 7, I think we could destroy a French army. We're certainly going to try. Get some glory, 3rd Bavarian Corps. And they can easily be finished off here by the 1st Bavarian Corps. Absolutely wonderful. Now, moving into that zone of control would be a bit crazy, I think. We could try it, but I'd rather keep my position and just cause the enemy, of course, casualties. We're also going to try to destroy this army. I mean, getting 2 French armies on the Western Front this early on would be a huge win. You know, the equivalent in the game would be hundreds of thousands of men. There we go! Yes! Not too shabby. Make sure everybody is reinforced. Yeah, I was actually thinking of getting, I'm not going to because I don't have a controller. I was thinking of getting that Jedi, what is it? It's like the new, you know, sort of Star Wars, almost Dark Souls-like game. But then when I saw that you needed a controller, I was like, I'm going to save my money. I'd rather just save it. Gonna need to get some gifts for family during Christmas anyway, so might as well just go ahead and put it towards that. Max. Jedi Fallen Order, that's the one. I think that's about all we can do. We purchased a bunch of units last turn. We've also got research going, although, you know what? Tank development. Man, if we could start this early war. Insufficient funds. I don't want to do with the Austro-Hungarians. Let's try with the Germans. Yeah, still insufficient funds. We've got to get that national morale up. And let's take a look here at the naval warfare going on. Destroying one of these larger British ships would be huge. So we're going to try to actually sink the Marlborough Dreadnought here. Oh, so close. Get another attack on him. Be able to finish him off pretty quickly. No, that was not without losses. The Kaiser Wilhelm actually took quite a hit during that fight. But we're going to finish the Marlborough off. Not a threat to us anymore. Even here, the Rhineland Dreadnought is taking quite a hit just to attack the enemy. And what we're going to do is go ahead and recycle him out. We're going to bring him back. And as much as I'd love to bring this guy over here to fight, we've got to deal with this British pre-Dreadnought, the Britannia. Huge morale loss for the enemy if we can destroy it. Send in the subs. She can't attack this turn. Sorry, she's already attacked. And let's see if a simple battle cruiser can be the deciding factor against a pre-dreadnought. Yeah, sehr gut. Icon Rostov says, bought the Steam controller and it only has one joystick. Kind of weird when most controllers have two. Be honest, Icon Rostov, is it worth the buy? Or is it just like, meh? You know, is it actually a controller that you can play and that's easy to use on games, or it's like, do you constantly have issues with the sensor? You know, is it worth a buy? No. So glad you told me that. Because I'd love to get a controller here for the PC so that I could play games like, you know, Fallen Order. Even, Sekiro. I recently, or not recently, but a few months back I bought it. The only reason I don't play it is because I don't have a controller. You know, I'd love to play it. Same with Dark Souls. I've beaten Dark Souls back when I used to have Xbox 360. But since I got it on PC, I'm just kind of like, not really interested. All right, folks, I think it's time to end the turn for sure. And I would love to advance here, but I just don't see that as being a wise choice. In fact, if I could switch these two guys, which I can, I would, just to keep the stronger unit out here in front. And we've also got our Turkish allies, that's right. Though I don't think the Turks are in open war with the British yet. That will come very soon. But we've also got some Turkish units in production. All right, my friends. Thank you again, guys. Really awesome. All right, Italian nationalists call for Italy to enter the war. I was worried about this, but obviously we're going to have to deal with the Italians now entering the war as well. It's part of World War I, and, you know, hopefully keep them back. All right, dozens are killed when Indian soldiers mutiny in Singapore. So at least the British are having their own problems. And D.W. Griffith's The Birth of a Nation is released at the cinema. If you've not seen that movie, you definitely should. It's historically very, very important. But essentially, it paints the KKK as good guys. You know, again, it was a movie of its time, but it's worth watching in context. Okay, there we go. Winter is over, or at least snow is over. It's still quite cold, I'm sure. Serbs have taken this time to sort of resupply, and complete miss there during that naval battle. It looks like nobody hit anyone, although the British are starting to bring their submarines out. And we don't exactly have many destroyers. Most of our ships are pretty heavy ships, heavy dreadnoughts, etc. Hello, how you doing, Neutranius? Neutranius? I think that's correct. Got a lot of interesting names here on the channel, so I always appreciate that. Trying to destroy that destroyer. He's only got one health, so I think he's going to be easy to kill. We've still got some very strong units here, and we should be able to retaliate quite quickly. Unfortunately, looks like our dreadnoughts and battlecruisers are not the best in terms of actually scouting the enemy. The destroyers are really best for that, and the light cruisers. Oh, they're sending in the British! They're actually sending in the British here, swapping out units once again to try and move our unit back from that area in front of Brussels. I'm not sure why they're so desperate to take that location, but they're doing it again. The French are attacking, and we still got some snow on the ground. Hey, Nestor. Oh, cool. I'm glad I got to set it right. Very nice. Long time no see, Nestor. Good to see you, man. Don't forget to hit that like button, folks. The Russians are desperate. You see how desperate they are to break us. This is not what was supposed to happen. They were supposed to break through, but we continue to hold Knigsberg, and we even are holding them with our Austro-Hungarians. In fact, we've taken some of their territory. I'm not sure this is going to last for long, but these are the glory days of 1914 right now. Well, actually now, 1915, sorry. We're way past 1914 at this point. We're in February. But these are the glory days of 1915, doing pretty well on that Eastern Front, when before it was an utter nightmare. Now, can we keep it stabilized? I just don't know. Russians are moving their generals up. They seem pretty confident. Maybe we can completely turn that confidence around. Welcome if anybody is new to the stream. Good to see you guys. Welcome aboard. I hope you guys like this format where, you know, I'm keeping this campaign to just live streams. You can, of course, always watch it after I live stream it if you don't want to stick around for the live stream, but just sort of easier for me because I can kind of do it when I'm into the game and want to sort of live stream and interact with you guys. And also, you guys provide some really great strategic advice, and in general, just some feedback, which kind of helps to make the video. The Ottoman army mobilizes for war. All right. Now, I don't think early war the Ottomans have much to offer, unfortunately. They're not exactly prepared for this kind of warfare. What we can do is cause some grief for the British, and we can try and push into Russia, although the latter I don't think is going to happen. So Ottoman forces are mobilizing throughout the Middle East, and that's what we're going to do, is we're going to try to push into Egypt, which is currently a protectorate of the British. Not going to be very easy. And I think we're going to bring our Ottoman ships immediately to assist us in the Mediterranean. All right, Indian troops seize Basra. Beautiful. Not much we can do there, but we do have... oh, sorry, that was the enemy troops. Or no, it's the Indian troops seizing it from the British. Armenian uprising in Van. This, of course, led to a pretty chilling time in Turkish history. I think some of you probably know about it. Am I going to play Pike and Shot sometime again? Yeah, probably. You know, the truth is, with a lot of the older games, the last 3 months we've done extremely well on the channel in terms of... And when I say extremely well, I mean for us, you know, like our best month ever was 700 subscribers. Now we're doing like 200 to 250 a month, which for us is pretty good. And the reason is honestly because we are still keeping to the strategy niche, but we're playing newer games. So, you know, we're playing Close Combat. We're trying to play, like, you know, even Armored Brigade when the DLC came out. We're trying to play, like, more recent strategy games, and the one we're playing currently. I just think it's the right approach for us right now to grow. I would love to go back to the format of playing, like, much older games, things like that. But for now, I don't know. I might still occasionally throw in a Pike and Shot battle here and there. I always love to throw in a 30 Years' War battle or an English Civil War battle. But I'm not promising anything soon, let's say. So much happened that turn. That was incredible. The fall of Basra is a painful loss, and we should consider taking action here. Suleiman Askeri Bey, head of our special organization, I cannot pronounce that, asked for permission to form a unit of volunteers in Mesopotamia to strike back at the British. Additionally, a German officer, Captain Fritz Klein, is volunteering to lead a mission to sabotage production at the Abadan oil refinery. Pardon me. Yes, we'll allow it, of course. Ottoman volunteers muster near Baghdad. Okay, so we should try to take back Basra. Thousands of Georgian Muslims have crossed the border from the Russian territory to offer their services in the coming conflict. Yes, of course. Welcome, friends. Georgian volunteers assembled to fight the Ottoman Empire. We've got some artillery for our Germans, and I am going to put it on the Eastern Front. Actually, I'm lying. Another piece of artillery on the Western Front would be really great, especially here in the South, but we've got a lot of units there. Nah, let's stick to my gut feeling. Put it here. Some Austro-Hungarian units also, including a submarine. The Austro-Hungarians are not known for their sub capabilities. And of course, we're going to throw in another unit. Just to make sure they don't get past us. Artillery there. We should absolutely get some more artillery for our Austro-Hungarians. And I'm going to put this detachment somewhere like over here just to be absolutely safe. All right, let's take a look. It's time for us to take a break and reinforce. Although, first, let me see if they have any very weak units. You can see some of these British units, like the Anzac Corps. These are Australian and New Zealanders. They've got 11 in their units, so quite strong here. Maybe we should try to weaken them a bit. Yeah. We could also take that town. Is it Nantes? I believe it's Nantes. Verdun! It's Verdun! Unfortunately, that zone of control is way too tight. We can't get in there, and I don't think it would be a wise idea anyway, because you could see all of their units would surround us and just smash us. But it's good to see that we forced the British back there a little bit. And let's reinforce our frontline units. Anywhere where I see weakness, I'm going to try to exploit it. Namely, in destroying any French armies I can. Look at this, boys. We're gonna get a kill with a cavalry charge. Oh, although it's gonna be with just a 4. That's a painful risk, but it's one I'm willing to take. No! It worked! It worked! Beautiful! Absolutely beautiful. Although, again, that cavalry is in a really rough situation. I think we need to move forward to defend it. But this leaves Ypres open. So we're going to take this unit, the 7th Corps, and move him in here. Just to defend that area. That was an interesting attack there. I think it was for the best. Got quite a weak French unit here. Might as well try and put him under the pressure if we can. That's good enough. I won't attack him again. Reinforce this guy. The Saxon Corps. Love the names of the units here. Yeah, the southern front has actually been pretty brutal. I didn't expect it to be so violent, but our men have taken a beating here for sure. So have the French, though. Another French army destroyed, guys. Look at this. I hope the French have enough actual citizens to fill the ranks of all these dead soldiers. But, yeah, they have lost so many units here. All right, let's take a look at the Italians. They haven't declared war yet, have they? Thank goodness. Now, what about the Serbians? Is there anything we can do here? I think we have to wait for the research, honestly. We have to wait for our Austro-Hungarian infantry weapons research to come through. Even the infantry warfare, I'm going to go ahead and spend some morale points to do that. And for the Germans, do you guys think it's too early to start tank development? Maybe it is. Maybe we should go for trench warfare. I think that's probably an even better idea. This would increase our entrenchment value, so it would make defense a lot easier. I think I'm going to go for the trench warfare. See if anybody answers. If you guys think we should go for the tank development now, I will do it. We've got 228 MPP. We could do that, or we could purchase some more units. With our Austro-Hungarians, 121. We could also go for another focus. Let's see. I think we'll also go for trench warfare with Austria-Hungary. And, yeah, this might be crazy, but I'm going to go for the tank research. And we're also going to try to purchase some new units. So, obviously, some corps, always great. Let's get the Guard Corps, just like the name. And for our Austro-Hungarians, nothing. As for the Ottomans, let's get some Mountain Corps. Actually, we'll get 2 Mountain Corps. And let's see if we can't start moving into British territory. Ooh, look at this. Now, unfortunately, the Ottomans don't have much in the way of transportation. They do have trains, but apparently not capable of really ferrying troops. Actually, we can ferry detachments, maybe just not entire units. As for our war against the Russians, I'm not sure how this is going to work. It's pretty rough out here, let's be honest. So I'm just going to try to hold this position. We'll actually entrench. And try to do our best at setting up a defense here. But against the Russians, it's going to be pretty tough. Now, of course, I want to get all of these ships into the Mediterranean and go to war with the Entente. They've dealt so many blows to our Austro-Hungarians, especially now that the Italians are about to join the war. We need to be able to, you know, do a little damage in response. Eric is saying artillery. Not a bad idea, actually. It's going to have to be a focus, a purchase, actually. So next we'll start getting artillery. I think these troops will finish up nicely. We'll also put that submarine right there. Of course, we suddenly come across some Allied ships, although the submarine is still on their trade line, so we should still be able to attack their merchant shipping here, coming from Marseille and also coming from Algiers. They don't need it anyway. They can do without it. I would really love to get a sub through this area, but I know it's pretty dangerous. Let's just continue our fight here in the north. But now we have to locate the enemy ship. There we go. He is ready for a battle, and I intend to go through with that. Ooh, I thought that we were going to do a lot better against the battle cruiser. They're starting to learn our submarine's tactics. Not a good sign at all. Oh boy, and they actually even evaded damage here. Yeah, the British are getting pretty aggressive. Another British ship. I think this is why somebody mentioned earlier that maybe we should stop trying to fight the British in open water, but I am stubborn enough to continue. Zone of control is awful. Alright, there we go. A chance to destroy a Swiftsure pre-dreadnought. We've had some pretty good luck against the pre-dreadnoughts. These are pre-World War I ships, of course. A bit slower than their counterparts. It's also reinforce any units we can. Doesn't look like he's going to be reinforced this turn. What about East Prussia? Oh, that reinforcing is not going so great. I know this is a risky attack, but I really want to get a kill on that unit. I mean, We are right up to their generals at this point. They must be somewhat panicked. But of course, we still have to hold this position. And that complicates things quite a bit here. So they could try to get through this position. Let's see if this detachment can get there. He can at least defend the road. At the very least, he can defend the road. So if they get through, we can try and fight them back. Or push them back, really. Maybe I'm getting a little cocky here. I think I am. I think that was a bit foolish. Alright, let's entrench here. Same over here. We're going to entrench in front of the city of Breslau. That is German land. Entrench, of course. And over here with the Austro-Hungarians, of course, try and keep delivering utter torment to the Russian forces. We've done a great job at actually really making them regret attacking these areas. Who knows? Maybe soon we could even go for Gorlice, other towns. Maybe eventually we can end up taking Kiev if this continues. No, he's not going to be any good, although he can entrench. Good enough. And with our cavalry, we can keep on pushing. I don't know if this is even worth it or if we should just go back. I mean, we could actually attack their artillery right now. We could go for their general. But I'm guessing it's probably best to go back to our lines. I'm not sure just how much damage we're doing by cutting them off here. I know it's doing some damage. But, you know, to sacrifice this 1st Cavalry Corps, probably not worth it. Yeah, let's get them back. Alright, let's take a look at Serbia. Yeah, nothing is going to happen here. Not for a long time. This unit seems to be unable to reinforce completely. Oh, there we go. Well, yeah, he can get back to 5, but he still can't reinforce completely. I'm just looking for any soft spot to attack. But to be honest with you, I don't think there are any soft spots. Ooh, enemy contact! That was a French ship! The French are still in the battle, or still in the war, of course. And look at that, huge French and British fleet arriving, armored cruisers and light cruisers, and I hope our Ottomans will be able to face them and cause some serious panic. Now with these Ottoman troops, we want to keep on moving, so I'm going to push in and just primarily try to take anything east of Port Said, but eventually we want to take Port Said itself. Welcome, folks. Don't forget to hit that like button and drop a comment once the video is uploaded. Alright, I think that's all we're going to do for now. Let's end the turn. How do you guys think it's gone so far? Let us know here in the chat, and also let us know in the comments down below. To increase our strength in the Mediterranean, we could send a U-boat section via barge and rail to Pola in the Adriatic, from where it can use Austro-Hungarian bases as to strike at enemy shipping. Sure, it's going to be 50 MPPs. We can afford it. Let's do it. Hey, Vargas. How you doing, man? Yeah, absolutely worth it. I mean, if you like World War II, probably better to get Strategic Command World at War, but if you like World War I, this is definitely it. The Locust Plague has drastically reduced food production in and around Jerusalem. If we do not act, there will be widespread hunger this winter, and our empire's status will suffer, as we will be seen as weak if we do not do something. Providing emergency food supplies to enable the population to get through the winter will cost us 30 MPPs. Of course, we've got the MPPs, we should do it. An outbreak of typhus is affecting the combat effectiveness of our forces in the east. The local medical facilities cannot cope with the numbers requiring treatment, and if we do not act, then this epidemic is likely to severely decimate our units. Of course, we need to treat typhus, and as you can imagine, during World War I, a lot of men did die from disease. I mean, these were tough times, and being in a trench with a bunch of other men, not bathing for months on end, yeah, you can get pretty sick. Italians are once again asking for Italy to join the war, and I think they might succeed pretty soon. We also can't forget to send our Ottoman troops here to try and retake Basra, because taking Basra and Kuwait back would actually be an important oil supply, which we're going to need throughout the war, of course. General Hamilton is appointed to command the Mediterranean Expeditionary Force. Okay. I think it's slightly weird switching tactics to World War I, II at kind of Rostov. I mean, I think it, how can I put this? I really wish there were alternate history scenarios, because I think World War I is a very straightforward conflict in the tactics approached. Like, you know, as the Central Powers, the most important thing is to try and build a very strong defense and defeat the Entente through, you know, pretty much attrition. Have them throw their men at you, lose thousands and thousands or millions of men before you win. It seems to kind of be the same every time. I mean, I guess you could take different approaches. I'm sure some much better strategy gamers could, but it just seems a lot more difficult. Whereas in World War II, you can really do things quite differently, you know? But, you know, I think Strategic Command in general tries to stay historically pretty accurate, and that's kind of the goal with games like this. That was a painful loss. That was actually a painful loss. Yeah, we might have to retreat back to our bases. The British are putting up a hell of a fight against our ships. Another very painful loss. This is payback for what we did to them in the English Channel in the beginning. Nice! A little bit of payback for us. Destroying that pre-dreadnought. At least we didn't completely come out of this without destroying one of the British ships. Looks like the French have actually brought up some lancers. Pardon me, guys. And the Serbs are actually moving forward as well. Could this be a Serbian counterattack? I don't think so. That would be crazy. We're really starting to see some British troops there on the Western Front, right on the front lines. They've taken up actual sections of the front at this point. The French are feeling the brunt of their losses. Ooh, Vargas has an interesting approach. He says, if playing with the Allies, I'd move the Gallipoli task force away from the Ottoman Empire and use it versus Austrian support of the Serbs. See, I think with the Entente, you've got a few more options. With the Central Powers, not necessarily. You know, the only thing I could think with the Central Powers, and a few people have mentioned it here in the comments, really awesome ideas, is pretty much try and win the war in Serbia very quickly by allocating German troops there in a general. That could work, and also trying to overwhelm the East and just stabilize the West, essentially not go to war with Belgium, and try and keep France on your good side for a while as you pile your troops into the East. But either of these... Ooh, boy, yeah, nice attack, France. Either of these approaches, I think, are really tough to accomplish. Like, you need to constantly be paying attention and constantly aware of what's going on. Yeah, the enemy being very aggressive here in front of Brussels. It looks like they wanted to get back our industrial center in front of Brussels. They might try to take it. And they're also trying to make up for the 4 units lost last turn. So 2 of our armies. That is pretty brutal. It's definitely going to be in the newspapers back in Berlin. The obituaries are going to be quite long this month. Absolutely, Vargas, and that's where I'm at somewhat of a disadvantage because I'm much more keen on World War II history than I am on World War I history. Here we go, the British pushing forward here. in Egypt, and they could very easily destroy our detachments. We have to get actual army units here, and they're just not that effective when compared with the, let's say, the more modern nations of this time period. It's a big mistake. The French are gonna get decimated there. We've trapped you here before, and we'll do it again. Another crazy thing we could do is we could go to war with Bulgaria right now. The Bulgarians were initially on our side, but I think if we lose any territory to the Serbs, the Bulgarians might go for the Entente. So we could just, you know, cut them off at the pass, get some Ottoman troops on that border. We've got a general there, and attack Bulgaria. What do you guys think? Crazy? I think it's a little crazy, but it's an idea. It's an idea. Italy swings towards the Entente. Now the Italians are in the war, and this is where things are going to get definitely very complicated. Well, they're still not in the war, but the Nationalists are calling for them to enter the war, and I think they will be in very soon. Now, this is interesting. I only learned this through this game, but it says Venezuelan soldier of fortune Rafael de Nogales Mendez joins the Ottoman army. So apparently a Venezuelan soldier, and a soldier of fortune is a fancy way to say mercenary, join the Ottoman forces. Bread rationing begins in Germany as baking cakes is forbidden. Oh my goodness. No cakes. Enzo now. George von Trapp begins his career as an Austro-Hungarian U-boat ace. Okay. And Pancho Villa is defeated at the Battle of Celaya in Mexico. All right, interesting. One thing I do love mentioning the hindsight of history that Vargas mentioned is, you know, it teaches you things about history that you never would have learned about otherwise. Just the little facts thrown in the game here. Okay, some more ships. We need them. Our navy has been at war, maybe even more than our army. It's a constant war almost. And some Ottoman troops. Now, as you can see, we don't have any generals down here, so we're gonna have to lay the Ottoman troops over here. But my goal is to use the railways to eventually get them down to Jerusalem, and then from Jerusalem over here to attack Port Said and eventually Cairo. I don't know if it's going to get to that. I see this front as being a really uncertain one. But we've got the 7th Corps there. We're going to bring in the 8th Corps. We're going to bring in the 7th Corps, and hopefully they can at least hold Jerusalem. We also want to start moving towards Basra, put an end to that rebellion. In fact, I don't think this cavalry is going to be of any use up here. We'll bring them down to Basra to help and keep trying to fortify our line with the Russians. I don't think for any chance we're going to be able to break through the Russians here and take any territory, so best thing we can do is fortify. Did not need to do that either. Icon Rostov, let them eat cake. Maybe a turnip cake would be permitted. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things, you know, you can even use like rhubarb. I don't know if anybody knows what rhubarb is. You can use rhubarb to make really good cake, and if you eat rhubarb alone, it's pretty disgusting. You know, as long as it's got sugar in it, carrots, you know, you can make a cake. Find alternatives, Deutschland. Well, guys, you know how this is. It's like watching a TV show in some instances. And if you want to see the next episode, you're going to have to show up to the next stream or see the next uploaded video. So I really hope to see you guys there. Finally, we can strengthen that front again at the very least, so you guys don't have any anxiety about that front. But we've got a lot of work ahead of us. Look at that attack. The Reserve Corps getting massive damage against the enemy. I'll try to destroy a Russian corps for you guys before I end the stream. And I want to really just give a extremely huge thanks to Icon Rostov and to Dave Jiju for contributing $18 to this stream. That is huge. I mean, if everybody contributed $18 every time I streamed, I really could probably do this professionally without much of a problem. One great thing about Portugal is that, you know, expenses here are not nearly as high as they are in many other countries. So, yeah, if I could make this my living, oh, I would love it. I'd be here every single day, 3-4 times a day doing live streams without much of a problem. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope to catch you in the next one. And as always, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe when you have the chance. Glory to the Kaiser and to the Central Powers. Auf Wiedersehen, my friends.